Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to another session of Curiosity Talks. It's lovely to have all of you here. This evening, we have our speaker, Vijay Parthasarathy, who is the founder of InTouch Consulting.in and the Golden Ladder Academy. And he has recently published his bestseller book called The Golden Ladder, Rise to be Unstoppable. Vijay has a vast and varied experience of 45 years in the corporate sector with 2 decades at the CEO level. Some of the organizations benefiting from his leadership skills were Procter & Gamble, Colgate-Palmolive, Johnson & Johnson, the Tata Group, Unilever, AI Futem Dubai, and AFT Germany, and more. Alongside, he was selected as one of the top 100 global inspirational leaders by People Hum organization and voted as one of the top 10 business leadership coaches of 2021 by Silicon India. An alumnus of IIT Kanpur, IIM Ahmedabad, Vijay is also a certified mind coach, trained in Reiki, hypnotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, and acceptance and commitment therapy. And he is the most sought after personal mastery specialist. So I'm sure all of you are waiting to learn how to be unstoppable. And thus, I'm going to hand you over to Vijay. Vijay, welcome.
Yeah, thank you so much, Swati, and for the lovely introduction. And thank you, Neeraj, for creating a platform like this. And thank you all for taking the time to be here. And I promise I'll do my very best. So first and foremost, I want to share one thing deep from the heart. You know, it's in today's world, at this point of time, each of you had an option to be somewhere else at the same time. The fact that you've chosen to be here, believe me, says a lot. I believe there are 95,000 people on this platform, and to be one of them, to be here, shows your mindset to be of learning, and that in itself will set you apart. And so my sincere congratulations to you. I think you should tap yourself on the back, and it's really nice to have you here. And so just before I start, I just wanted to check with you, how many of you have been in the corporate sector? You can just type CS in the comment box. And how many of you have been entrepreneurs? You can just type E in the comment box. Okay. Either C for corporate sector or E for entrepreneur, just to get a feel of, like, okay, I think there seems to be a reasonable, equitable distribution here. Okay, thank you so much. And right. So let me share with you certain things in terms of what this subject is about. How many of you have a feel of what this topic means? Just type whatever you feel. Become unstoppable. What do you think? Just type anything that you think of. What do you think you hope to expect to see in this? Keep going. Okay, Geeta. Anything else? Mindset. Okay. Right. Okay, here it is. Not to get phased out. Ashutosh. Yes, thanks so much. Yeah. So here it is like this. So on one September morning in, I think in 2011, about 6 a.m. in the morning, everything was hunky-dory, everything was fine, the birds were singing, but something happened. I could not get up. There was a huge angry gnawing at my chest and a full-blown panic attack. Now, the days became weeks, and the weeks became months, and the months became years. And I was struggling between psychotherapists and psychiatrists, paying between 500 to 20,000 rupees an hour, only to get rid of the mental pain that I was going through. Now, at that point of time, by and large, I had whatever most of the things that people desire. I had the best of education, IIT, IIM. I had a great corporate experience. I had the best houses, the cars. My children were in the best schools, Stanford and Columbia. But I did not know why all this happened. Now, to cut a long story short, with the grace of God and the help of family and the millions of people and who supported, and the hundreds of books that I've read, and being like Swati said, the master practitioner for hypnotherapy, Reiki, art of living, CBT, ACT, I've come back with a power and an energy far beyond than I ever was. So at any point of time, none of us have control on what may happen to us. But we have 100% control on what we do with what happens to us. Yes or no? So type yes if you believe what I say is correct. So the important thing is to know that particular thing you need to do to be the person who comes out of all this. So let's pause this here and we'll talk about another thing. So now everybody on this platform, even today, even the people who don't attend here, suppose they're all very intelligent. Suppose you combine the entire intelligence of everyone here on this platform and create an entity, say, let's call X, and feed all this intelligence to that X. And suppose all the education that everyone has on this platform has been condensed into a capsule and fed into the same X. And suppose everyone's tech savviness is actually once again condensed and taken as a capsule and put in this entity called X. Imagine what that entity will have, the combined intelligence, the combined education, the combined technology. And let's assume that the best person on this group actually goes for a particular project proposal to win or even for an interview or whatever it is, and the other competition is this X. Who do you think will get it? It's a no-brainer. There's a very good chance that this entity that we have, which is the combined intelligence of all of us plus the education and technology, is going to get it. So this is the reality of tomorrow. The metrics of tomorrow are not going to be the same. It's going to be most of the metrics tomorrow are going to be completely different. Then we're not going to be differentiated by intelligence, because artificial intelligence will take the cake out of every single intelligence that we have together. Education will be online. Stanford and IIMs have already got it online. And things like tech will all most probably be open source. And therefore, what is it that will set us apart in this world tomorrow? What is it that will set us apart and help us stand out from the crowd with so much amount of pressure and so much amount of things happening? Because today's era is different from tomorrow's era. It's just in about 2 years' time from now. It's not going to be what Jim Collins says as the good to the great. It's going to be great to the unstoppable. So how many of you agree that the metrics of today are not going to be really the metrics of tomorrow? Type yes if you believe so. And let me share with you something which I seriously believe. Once in a while, you meet people, I'm sure it happens to you. These are people who necessarily may not have the best of education or the best of intelligence, or they may not speak well, but they seem to be flying really high, handling managing director jobs of companies. And there are some people who have everything. I mean, they have the best of it. They're the most intelligent, they're hardworking, but they seem to be still floating around. And we keep asking, kya ho gaya yaar? I mean, how come this guy isn't doing so well? How come this guy is doing so well? Yes, we do meet such people, right? So for a lot of time, I used to negate these people, saying that tukka lag gaya, luck hai, kuch chal raha hai. So I realized only about a couple of years ago that rather than negate these people, we must actually challenge the metrics that we have set as the parameters of success: education, intelligence, speaking well, hard work, technology, education. Maybe these are not necessarily the metrics. Maybe these guys operate at a completely different level in terms of metrics. I always wonder, and I tell about people too. Like take a guy like Sundar Pichai, for example. There are at least 100 guys, in my opinion, within Google itself who are more intelligent, more educated, have contributed to Google more, probably speak better, look better than why him, right? Because I have understood after researching many guys that they operate under a completely different science, right? And today's story is, what is that science and how is it that we can incorporate in our lives in a systematic manual form, which is easy to take on and thereby help us become unstoppable, rather set us apart in tomorrow's world. Is it exciting? If yes, type yes in the comment box and then let's go. Now here is one more thing. Suppose tomorrow morning, you wake up and you open the door and there's a parcel lying outside your house. And it's beautifully packaged and it looks wonderful. And it comes from a very safe source. So you're excited, you open the package, it looks beautifully shining. And then there are certain knobs and there are certain buttons. And then you realize that there's a small sticker there which says this particular machine, very small machine, can do anything in the world, literally anything in the world. So that really takes on your excitement, and you keep trying to find out. And suddenly you realize that there is no instruction manual to this instrument. And then we try to do this and that, and we realize we don't have the instruction manual, so we're not able to operate in the best possible manner. And so we struggle along. Days and months and years pass by, and then when you go out into the town, you realize that everyone has got this instrument, but nobody seems to have cracked it fully. What is the instruction manual? But there are some guys, apparently there is a rumor that they seem to have cracked it, and they seem to be flying. Now, our story, all of us, without exception, is that each of us have been provided with the most powerful instrument in the world, but without an instruction manual. Any guesses what it is? What is the most powerful instrument that we have all been provided with, but we don't have the instruction manual for it? Any guesses? Mind. Absolutely, the mind, right? A majority of the people don't even seem to recognize it. And the people who recognize it don't know how to operate it. So everybody tries his own instruction manual till their children tell them that they are bad, until their children tell them that they are bad, and life goes on, right? But what if there is actually a developer's code, a code that can actually help us to find out, maybe not be the entire instruction manual, but a majority of it, which will help us to be the true amazing version of ourselves. That will be exciting, isn't it? Now, we do one more wrong thing in our lives as we grow up in this short span of whatever it is, 70, 80, 90, 100 years, even 200 years. It's a short span in terms of what we do is we also try and start in the process of learning, we also start pouring corrosive liquids on this instrument. One of the corrosive liquids we do, the first thing we do is doubt. Not the regular important doubt that helps us, but irrational doubts. Am I capable? Can I do it? Will this happen? So that is the D for doubt. The next corrosive liquid we put is worry. What happens if? What happens if? Everything about a future with a negative option of the future, both of which don't exist, but we screw up present. So that's a W. And now D and W add to that physical thing, which is the anxiety, A. And then comes this beautiful brother, resentment, which is anger. Here you're standing on a red light, and another guy from behind honks. The first horn, you're quiet. The second horn, you're fully aware. The third horn, you start getting irritated. By the fifth horn, you actually walk out, and you may end up saying or doing things which make you the culprit rather than the victim. Yes or no? Right? So this is what are the corrosive liquids we add onto the instruction manual, DWARF, which is actually what dwarfs us. While we have an instrument which can actually take us to the heights of success, we are capable like a million suns, but we all behave like, all of us, most of us, like a 40-watt bulb or a 50-watt bulb. When we see somebody who's 60-watt bulb, we feel deflated. We see somebody with a 30-watt bulb, sometimes we feel elated. So this is what dwarfs us. Now, we have said, who are these unstoppable people who actually seem to be doing something different? So let me share with you something. How many of you have heard? Okay, everybody would have heard. I mean, I think it's a wrong question. Las Vegas. All of you have heard of Las Vegas, the Sin City. Now, there is another aspect to Las Vegas. It's also called the performance paradise. The performance paradise is if you perform at Las Vegas, you should be one of the world's best, absolute best. You can get paid to close to $5 million for one night. At Las Vegas, there is something called a residency. That means somebody comes and he's there for 5 days, 6 days, 7 days, or 10 days. That's called a residency of a performance. Now, in the history of the residencies at Las Vegas, in the entire history, ever since beginning till today, the number 1 spot and number 2 spot are taken by this lady who's known as the goddess of music. It is said that when she walks the earth beats a different tune. She is the complete diva in the world of music. Now, she, in her residency, she did 2 residencies. The first residency did 717 shows worth $600 million US, with 3 million people sitting and watching over 4 years. And the next one, she did another 300 shows. Totally, she did $1 billion in less than 5-6 years. And her name is number 1 and number 2. Any guesses who the lady is? The number 1 singer in the world, Celine Dion. Now, Celine Dion was, like I said, the ultimate, the the biggest name in music. Now, 10 years ago or 12 years ago, one day, Celine Dion's right hand muscle started failing, and she did not know why. In a day or two, a couple of other muscles, in about 5-6 days, her entire muscles collapsed, and she had to cancel all her shows. And forget about singing, she could not get up from the floor. She was on the floor. Even to put her in a wheelchair was a huge, huge act. That was Celine Dion, coming from there to there within seconds. Now, fast forward to 2024, July 24th, 2024. Does this date mean anything to you? July 24th, 2024. Anyway, it is the opening day of Olympics, one of the biggest sports events in the history of the games, right? And the opening night is supposed to be one of the most majestic ones at 7:30 p.m. in the night. And it is conducted from Eiffel Tower, from the roof, from the top of the Eiffel Tower. There are 3 segments to Eiffel Tower, and the top segment of Eiffel Tower. So at 7:30 p.m., the entire place is totally dark. Lights shine on Eiffel Tower, curtains open, and there she is, Celine Dion, singing away to 5 million people and making a huge presence when not too long ago, she couldn't get up from the floor. Now, these are the unstoppable people. People who rise every time they fall. People who can push through fear and uncertainty every time they encounter it. People who can stamp their presence wherever they go, irrespective of their looks. Now, here's the crux. Hearing a story like this, many of us here, we see so many things on videos and things like that. If you cannot be that person in a situation like, if you're put in that situation, there is no use listening to a story like this. It doesn't do any good. Yes or no? It doesn't do any good. It's academic. There are millions of stories of people who made it to great things. But if you cannot be that person there in a situation like this, none of that is useful. Yes or no? Is it of essence to know that Tom Cruise can jump from one place to another, one plane to another? Well, it doesn't really make a difference. It's very inspiring, yes, but inspiring only to the extent that to watch. But unless you know a methodology, a recipe of how you can be that person in a situation like that, everything else is academic. Yes? So today, I want to share with you. That's why this is not truly, this is not one of those Gyan giving sessions. I'm not going to tell you what to do. But I will share with you a recipe of these super geniuses across the world who somehow have managed to get this something else that I told you in the beginning. What is it that they do so different? Which is what I want to share with you. So if you think this is a great thing, type BIO, bring it on in the comment box. So are you ready to listen to this recipe that you can start after this call is over immediately? No money, none of it. You can start and it'll change your life, irrespective of wherever you are. Remember this, irrespective of wherever you are in your life, business, your health, your wealth, your relationships, and whatever it is, if you truly desire to go to a place where you vibrate at a completely higher frequency, nothing should stop you, right? Nothing should stop you. Otherwise, this life is not, you're not used to the best. And that's the goal of this, in fact, this short talk. Actually, most of what I'm talking today comes from my book, The Golden Ladder. And actually, because the book in itself may not be substantial enough, I have a 2-day summit where I actually handhold people through 2 days in a residential summit and actually work with individual KRAs and make sure that they actually visibly, quantifiably generate it. It could be your child's marriage, it could be your daughter's education, it could be the best house, the best car, whatever it is. So here is the recipe. Number 1. All of us have different kinds of beliefs. Everyone has got beliefs, right? Now, it's some we can't do something, some we can do something, etc. And that's okay. The crux comes when we have belief about certain things which we cannot do, but we want to do, and we see others able to do. These are limiting beliefs. These are limiting beliefs. I'm not good at math. I'm not good at dancing. I'm not good at public speaking. I'm not good at speaking to strangers. Every time I buy into the stock market starts falling. And every time I sell, the stock market starts increasing. These are a lot of beliefs that do not help us. Yes, everybody, irrespective of whoever is on this platform, wherever in the world, everybody has certain limiting beliefs. Yes? If you feel that you do have limiting beliefs, type yes in the comment box. Yes, we do have certain limiting beliefs. There could be 1, there could be 2. The objective is to be able to be at a place where we eradicate and erase every single limiting belief and fill us up with unlimited and limitless beliefs. Now, because whatever you believe is the only thing that you will achieve. That is the law. Whatever you're seeing on the screen of your life today, your current bank balance, your weight, your health, your relationships, everything is what you believe and what you have achieved. I'm not saying this. The geniuses of the world said this. Brian Tracy, Wayne Dyer, Norman Vincent Peale, Napoleon Hill, Anthony Robbins, Jesus Christ, Bhagavad Gita. Believe and achieve, believe and achieve. Whatever you believe is the only thing that you'll achieve. But the key is, if you do not see something that is vibrating for you and what you want, you need to change your beliefs. But how do you change your belief? When you are, say, at the age of 45 or 50 and you've still got a lot of financial things happening, how can you believe that you can earn $100 million in the next 10 years? Suppose you are at 45 or something, not and doing very well in a corporate job, how can you believe that you can be the CEO of a large company? Suppose you shiver on getting onto a stage, how can you believe in the next 1 year you can be the best public speaker that you have ever known? The challenge is, if you know a methodology, which is, like I said, the recipe, you can be whatever you want by changing the beliefs. And let me tell you how you change this belief. That is the first step that geniuses do, whoever they are. And therefore, these other metrics start falling and everything else. If you are able to climb on this, our mind has got, you must know, but I'll just repeat it for the sake of, so that I know that everybody is on the same platform. Our mind has got two aspects, the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. The conscious mind is just 5%. It's like ice floating on water. The subconscious mind is 95% and most of it is submerged. Every single thing that we are doing in our life today is driven by the subconscious. The conscious mind just does some basic stuff like conversations, rational conversations, analysis, decision making, everything, whether the heartbeat or whether you're driven from one place to another without remembering how you came, everything is driven by the subconscious mind. And whatever thoughts are in the subconscious mind, just be with me. Otherwise you'll have questions at the end. Whatever thoughts are fed in the subconscious mind is what you will believe. And whatever you believe is what you will achieve. Let me repeat. Whatever thoughts are fed into the subconscious mind is what you will believe. And whatever you believe is what you will achieve. Like I said, none of this is my gyan sitting under a tree. I never got it. It's all from these geniuses whom I've taken it from, experimented on hundreds of people, seen success, put it on myself and seen this. Now, the divide between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind is very, very wafer thin. But the difficult news is that you cannot penetrate the subconscious mind that easily. And actually, it's very fertile between the ages of 0 to 7, and therefore a lot of it gets taken in. That's why a lot of people feed us with the lie that whatever we are from the ages of 0 to 7 is what we will be. And that's totally untrue. Every single thing can be reversed at any age, at any time, whatever limiting belief that you have about yourself. And that's a promise, I can tell you. So if you want to change the belief, you need to change the thoughts you feed into the subconscious. But like I said, it's not easy to penetrate the subconscious. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. So if you are able to know a small code of how you can open the subconscious mind, all it requires, simple, take every single limiting belief of yours, like the weed, take it out, throw it out, and feed it into the subconscious what you want, and you will see a different life. Otherwise, like I myself have gone through fear of flying for the 7 years when I was handling a global company. I could not fly. And therefore, I used to go to the airport and come back feeling miserable about myself. But I used to tell, like, I want to promote my subordinates. And therefore, I'm sending them a crystal. That's all bullshit because I really was suffering. But how did I come out of this fear of flying? How do people who have created all this, how do they get out and become completely almost invincible? So here's the first. So this is the belief paradigm which the geniuses of the world do. And here is actually there is a 5-step process, but we have very limited time. So I'll tell you 3 steps. You can note this down and start this. Any belief of yours can be reversed. And very, very simple. It sounds so simple that it's scary, actually. Are you ready? Type yes in the comment box to listen to these 3 steps. The 4th and the 5th, you can take on another time. The first step, how to penetrate the subconscious, right? And the 2 most powerful words in the universe are I and am. I and am. These are the two most powerful words. Whatever is said after these two words, when we tell this ourselves or tell outsiders, it goes to the subconscious. Now, most of us, what do? We go around saying, I'm hassled, I'm not doing too good, I'm not good at stock market. How are you doing, man? I'm okay, I'm doing okay. So what does life throw at us? Hassle and stress and probably lack and things like that. So, and they wonder why I'm not good at stock market. When I'm constantly going around saying I'm not good at stock market, obviously the world will say, so be it. So the first step, like I said, a very, very simple step. Whatever you want in your life is what you need to say after I am. Doesn't matter what is happening in your life. It doesn't matter if your finances are at a very low, but you need to tell what you want in life. Suppose, so therefore it is like, I am strong, I am powerful, I'm successful, I'm prosperous, I'm abundant, whatever it is that you want. And therefore strength and prosperity and health and abundance will follow you. This is 100%, totally true. And you can try it out and you can experiment. In the next 3 weeks, you'll start seeing results for yourself. Number one, that's the first step. What you want is what you say after I am, starting now. And you will see magic happen in your life. And so, for example, even, if you see people like all these great superstars, even in movie industry, they don't become just like that. Take a guy like Shah Rukh Khan, for example. He's a guy who's entered the film industry. He's a short guy, who's a dark guy, who doesn't look great in a world that was filled with all those days at least, people who are very fair and who had godfathers and everything. And he came and announced literally, I am going to be the king of Bollywood. And it turns out to be. And there are many, many videos of his where he says that every day in the morning, I get up and say, I am the best. This is not out of arrogance, but this is the only way to live life, right? Because even your own internal DNA starts changing. The first step is therefore to change your belief pattern is I am. Use the words I am. Yes, clear? First step, clear? Say yes if it is clear. The second step is, anytime a message goes into the brain in familiar parts and circuits, it creates patterns of recognition. Let me repeat. Any message that goes in the brain, this is biochemistry. In familiar parts and circuits, it creates patterns of recognition. And the brain loves patterns. Whenever patterns are created, two hormones secrete in the brain, oxytocin and dopamine. One is a love chemical and one is a feel-good chemical. And the interesting thing is, in the brain chemistry, when these two chemicals simultaneously secrete, they actually cement that message and feed it to the subconscious. Clear? Two chemicals secrete, cement the message, and put it in the subconscious when it goes through familiar parts. Now, in simple terms, what is familiar parts? It's repetition. Just sheer repetition. If you say, I am strong, I am healthy, or whatever, I am earning $100 million, or whatever it is in your life that makes a difference, you repeat it throughout the day. That is what they say, that a lie repeated 1,000 times becomes the truth. Yes? So this is simple. The second step is repeat. Doesn't matter what the world thinks, what anybody thinks. It is your life that's important. You're the only person who can bring your life to a newer level. Nobody else can. Everybody else can only tell you different things, but the only person who can actually press that accelerator is you. So you constantly have the second step as repetition. So got it? Second step, got it? Yes? Type yes in the comment box if you got it. Right, now the third step. Suppose you have a mobile phone or an MP3 player and you keep it, you keep it programmed with I am strong or I am powerful. Nothing's going to happen to the MP3 player, correct? It's obvious. And that is what differentiates us as human beings from that. The one thing that differentiates us from human beings, and AI still cannot probably reach, is our ability to feel, whether we are baby boomers or millennials or Gen Z or Alpha or whoever we are, the feeling is what differentiates us. So third step is, whenever you say whatever this sentence is, I am strong, feel the strength. When you say I'm prosperous, feel the prosperity. When you say I am powerful, feel the power. So unless you feel it, you will not see it. So the third step is to feel, whenever you say it, feel it with a complete intensity, as if it is happening, and that's what you are. Every morning, I'm full of energy and enthusiasm and vitality. I'm exceptionally healthy and strong. I repeat it constantly throughout the day, every day till today. And it's made a huge difference, right? Now, so these are the three steps of what the first thing that they do is called the belief paradigm. So let's summarize the belief paradigm. Number one is the two most powerful words are I and am. So you start saying what you want after I am. Second is repetition of whatever you want. And third is say it with feeling. So yeah, so this is the first module. The geniuses of the world, who they follow one more module, which is another phenomenal thing. And once you know the access code for this, you will see magic happening in your life every day. My website is full of people who have on their own told stories of what this has had done on their own. You can check it out on my website. It's like this. These are the people who actually seem to know how to create the future, literally, how to create the future. So how many of you people have heard of the word called visualization, right? How many of you have heard? I think most of you would have heard of visualization. Yes? Now, what do you think is visualization? I mean, you can just type whatever it is, but paucity of time, I'll continue. These people, you must have heard a lot of people say, like Djokovic in tennis, he says, when I was 7, I visualized myself getting the Olympic gold medal. There is this famous actor called Jim Carrey who said that I visualized getting $10 million in 3 years, and it happened just before that. In fact, even this young guy who played, I don't know if you watch IPL, there's a guy called Vaibhav Suryavanshi. At the age of 14, he's come and created history. Even this guy, 3 years earlier, had said the day I go in the first ball of my first match, I will hit a 6. And he hit a 6. Now, a lot of people have told about visualization, which leads to manifestation. But not many people tell you, because a lot of them, they may or may not know a systematic process. They may be doing it out of a current DNA. So there is a systematic process which translates visualization into manifestation. Now, if you know this, you can actually create wonders in your life. You can start doing small things and start visualizing. Every small thing will start falling into place. It looks like a game that you play every day, and you can start seeing amazing results. You can create your own weight. You can create a bank balance. You can create a relationship that is failing. You can do anything literally with time. But the first requisition is that your belief system has to be clear. You can't believe that I'm a useless guy and then start manifesting, I get $100 million. These are contradictory. That's why the belief paradigm is the first one. So coming back to now the visualization, there is this, like I said, I keep telling you, none of this is my own thinking. It's all taken from hundreds of people who have seen systematic results and taken it into capsules, seen it on hundreds of guys, put it on myself, and see it working every day, right? So once again, this immersive visualization process, which I once again take people through in a systematic way, hand-holding them in my summit, which is on June 14th and 15th at a resort outside Bangalore. So all of you are welcome. So this particular way, it's got, once again, 5 steps. It's on my chapter, I think chapter 15 in my book, the detail of it. But here I will share with you 3 steps, which are very, very powerful. The first step, see, visualization is not imagination. That's why a lot of people feel that I imagine this to be happening and it's not happening, and they give up the concept of visualization. Visualization is almost a systematic neuro balancing of what is happening in your brain to be able to create that environment aligned with the universe, right? So I'll tell you the step number 1. Suppose you were to be ordering a shoe on Amazon, right? You will not sit in front of the computer and say, I want the best shoe. Or if suppose hypothetically you want a car, you won't type, I want the best car, right? But a lot of us go around wanting, I want the best car in the world, the best relationship with my spouse, the best job in my world. There's no such thing like the best, because your best may be different from my best and someone else's best. So the first step is to be actually exceptionally specific in terms of what you want. If, like, for example, if you want a shoe, you will say, what is the size of the shoe? What is the color of the shoe? What is the brand of the shoe? What is the thickness of the sole, or whatever it is? Similarly, if you want a car, you will say, what is the brand, the sub-brand, the color, the CC? Suppose you want a house, you will say exactly where is it, in which city, in which part, is it overlooking the ocean, how many bedrooms, whatever it is. So you are now sitting in front of the Amazon of the universe. Step number 1. Go into every single detail of what you want, in as much detail as possible. Relationship with somebody that you want, in as much as possible. What is the kind of discussion that you want to have with that person in terms of relationship? Every single detail. And that is step number 1. Putting down and writing exactly the steps step by step, or rather systematic detail of what you want from the universe. That is step number one. Step number two, you don't say that I want the best car, I want my best relationship with my spouse or my child, or I want the best house. You don't say it, then it'll always be in the future. You need to have a specific date. April 26th, 2026. Whatever the date is, July 14th, 2027. You need to decide and write down that date. Yesterday, day before yesterday, when I was speaking to a lot of people at the KPMG convention. So this is the girl who asked me that I have this, but I constantly wonder when will it happen, when will it happen? Absolutely. When you have a date, you fix the date, you are 100% sure, and you decide that that will be the date it will happen. So that's once again coming from the belief paradigm. Whatever you tell yourself, you start believing intensely, and there's a process for that. And once you cross that and you come here, you fix the date. That is step number two. And step number three is what a lot of people miss out, is that if you set a date of April 26, 2026, and you want to sit and visualize in the most vivid manner, you don't visualize it in general. You visualize as if that day that you're visualizing is April 26th. That means every day, whenever you take an hour or 15 minutes or 10 minutes during the day to visualize, number one, you detail out. Number two, you actually set the date. And the number three is you are on that date. Today is April 26, or whatever, July 17, 2027. And this is happening to you right now in every single detail. You're actually in the house, you're visiting with, you have people coming over, they're congratulating you, or every single detail that happens on that particular day, whether it's a house or relationship or whatever it is, you visualize. And there are two other very important steps, which, it's in part of my book in chapter 15, or I take in a very, very detailed manner in my summit. But these are the three powerful steps. Let me repeat in terms of the visualization. Number one, you go into as many specific details as possible. Number two, set a specific date and don't waver from the date. Keep telling yourself that that date is the date that it is going to happen. And third is visualize yourself as if that date is today, and then start going into it. So these are the three steps. So these are the two things that set the people apart. Tomorrow, AI, no AI. That's why you see ordinary people achieving extraordinary results. And some extraordinary guys, based on our traditional metrics, don't seem to be going great there. So we all know this is the mind. If you take a 3-year-old child, my granddaughter, she believes that she can achieve anything. We all were there a couple of years ago. But as with time, like I said, some people can't drive a car, some people can't fly. Here is a fighter jet guy who's going all over the place, and here I couldn't get into a plane. That is the kind of stuff that we all end up with our own, like I said, what that dwarfs us, the doubts, the worries, the anxieties, the fears, and the resentment and anger. So we all we deserve to be unstoppable. Wherever you are in our life, if you truly deserve and rather desire to be at a different place, we need to be possessing a system so that nothing can stop us. And I promise you, these two things that if you can do systematically, the belief paradigm and the visualization paradigm, nothing can stop you, because we all were born to be unstoppable, right? Somewhere along the line, we lost our way. And all of us are capable of phenomenally more great things. But having a potential is no use. It doesn't pay our bills. Right? And only when we take action and we start seeing visible results, you will see, whatever I told you, if you've taken notes, you will start seeing, like I said, it's like a game. You'll start seeing small things. You start visualizing small things. You were expecting somebody to come at 7 o'clock. You start visualizing him coming at 7 o'clock. A lot of time, we normally visualize what we don't want. Your child has gone out to play. We start visualizing what we don't want. That's how we are all wired. So you change that wiring, and things will start falling in place like anything. So this is my best wishes for you, to be the unstoppable version of yourself. If you truly have specific objectives and you want to actually make them happen, please come on to my summit on 14th and 15th of July. I'll take you specifically through KRAs of individually and make them happen for you. I've conducted so many summits, and like I said, many, many people have actually done this in their own lives. It's something that is magical, truly. So wishing you once again a very, very unstoppable version of your life. And thank you for listening to me. And I hope this will make a true difference to you. Thank you, Swati. And thank you very much, all of you.
Shall we do some Q&A because we have 20 minutes more?
Yes, that's why I stopped, because this is a kind of session that requires a lot of Q&A. And
Yeah.
if whatever you have, just feel free. And if there is something that you don't feel comfortable asking, you can message me privately and I can answer. But anything is open. I mean, challenge me to anything.
Mr.
Hello.
Vijay, I wanted to ask you a question.
Sure.
Despite whatever we have and whatever we feel, we still fail.
That's okay. Can I answer that?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, you have told yourself. What's your good name? Sorry, I couldn't get your
My
name.
name is Anup Srivastava.
Okay, Mr. Srivastava.
Uh,
This is the sentence that you are telling.
yeah.
Nobody has told you, scripted and told you that in your life, whatever we try, we'll still fail. Nobody has told you. You have created this, right? So obviously, every time we work on something, it may not happen at that point of time. So either there's no such thing as failing. Either we win or we learn. So every time we learn certain things and we go forward. So what you need to, if you already have written a script that every time we strive, we still fail, you're going to see that in real life. Because there is a belief in you. So all you need to do, this is not a belief that's helping you. So we need to change that belief. So Mr. Srivastava, if you can actually create a sentence that it used to be that every time I tried something, I used to fail. But from the 12th of May, something has happened. Every time I try, I'm getting new ideas and I'm succeeding at the end. It's just what you tell yourself and see the change. 1 year from now, you will see incredible results.
Okay. Not a second question. When this session on 14th and 15th July, is it happening in Bangalore? Because I live
Yeah,
in
it's
Bangalore.
happening in Bangalore. It's just outside Bangalore. It's in a resort outside Bangalore. It's about an hour from Bangalore. It's
Okay.
and it's a residential summit. You start on a Saturday morning and we close on Sunday night.
Okay. Thank you.
Where
Thank
can
you.
we find the detail of this?
I'll share the details once the Q&A is over. I just put it up.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Neera here.
Yes, Ira. Hi.
Yeah, my question was, when you visualize what you wish with a specific time, I'm presuming you also visualize and detail out the steps to achieve it.
Okay, very good question. See, it's like this. I forgot to mention one thing. When you visualize an outcome, you do not visualize the process. Okay, suppose you want a house, just for an argument's sake, suppose you want to buy a house. There are many steps to this, right? That means suppose I take a loan and then I have some profit. I have some money with me or something simple stuff like that. Then if I start spending time on, if I'm going to visualize going to the bank, which bank to go, what is the interest rate, etc., and I'm spending my time on the visualization of the process will happen. The outcome may not. But doesn't mean that you sit quiet and have a sandwich, like Jim Carrey says, and do nothing and just visualize. Even that will not happen. You have a plan. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, or what are the various things to do? Just go after it full blast. No visualizer. Visualizing is only the outcome, nothing else of how the final outcome is going to be. See, that's why in one of my chapters I've written why visualization fails is majority of the people are visualizing the process. Because that's what is driving us all the time. I have to go and meet this guy. I have to sell this property to get this. Should I be able to do this? Should I take another job? I'm just talking of the people who. So then your mind is sucked in visualizing the process. The process will happen. You will get the bank loan. You will get this thing, but you may not get the desired outcome. So you keep visualizing the outcome, but keep working on what you need to do. That is the key. You can't just sit. Like yesterday, day first yesterday, also one lady asked me, you can't just sit and expect something to happen. Of course, there are saints who achieve that, but none of us are in that kind of a league. So you need to do everything that's required, but visualize the outcome.
Thank you. Thanks, Sita.
Thank you so much.
Good evening,
you had a question.
sir.
Sonal, I think
I have-
Sonal had a question. If
I
we
have,
can.
I have a question.
Yes,
I have a
Sonal.
question if time permits.
Sonal,
Thank you. Yes, I did have a question. Maybe I'm a greedy participant. I wanted to know, can we visualize more than one thing at the same time?
Yes, very good question. You can visualize more than one. See, the point is, any visualization that you do, you need to do You can't just do once, say for 10 seconds and forget it, right? So obviously you have to do as many times as possible, as long as possible, as intensely as possible. Now we have a limited time during the day. If we just have 3 or 4 constantly we're sitting and visualizing, we may not be able to do what is required. So what we do is we take specific time frames, we take the top 3 or 4 important things in our life happening at that time, and we maybe take one and do it, and maybe take 2. If you take too many, obviously you're reducing the the impact that you're giving to each
Yes.
one. So while you can, but my recommendation is do 1 or 2 for till, and also start with small things in life. There are people who have actually recorded and sent saying when somebody couldn't get important documents for a long time, he searched all over the place, and then he said, Vijay talks about this visualization and manifestation, let me try it out. And within 3 days, he found the documents in the place he already searched many times. So these are things that excite you and give you the confidence. Yes, this works, and this works in my life. So to answer your question, Sonal, right? Yes. So you don't visualize too many things because you won't have that kind of time. Take 1 or 2 most important things and do that and see that happening.
Thank you.
I have a question, sir.
Ashutosh, right?
No,
Yeah,
Naresh.
I have a question if there is time.
Yeah, Ashutosh, and then Ruchi, and then Naresh.
Yes,
Yeah.
Ashutosh.
Yeah. Old school. So I'm old school.
Don't say that. It doesn't matter. Whatever
Well, I'm
school.
saying it because the question will support that.
Yes, okay.
So the success is strongly correlating to intelligence, academic and practical. Now, whatever
I
you
disagree
are
there, but we can
suggesting-
continue. I disagree there, but we can
whatever you are suggesting and professing is giving a feeling to me, at least, that mind and with the therapy and methods that you outlined can actually go way beyond what intelligence can.
Absolutely. 1000%.
Is what that's my simple crux after
Absolutely.
this session. And that I cannot pretend, Vijay, I'm still trying to digest it.
Yes.
Not being skeptical, but I'm not someone who will easily digest fundamentally new concepts.
Fair enough. I think you have a valid point. I used to believe this for a long time. So because I used to see I'll tell you one other example.
Yeah.
We recently did a research or a study among all our IIT batchmates and IIM batchmates. Okay.
Yeah.
And to see who are the people who have really done well. We sat actually and did this. We always had this thing in IIT about this grades, this guy has got this rank, this guy has got this grade, and there is always this top 10 or 12 guys. Similarly, at the IIM. What we found out is, except for one person, every single person on the top guys, the most intelligent guys, the guys like my roommate was All India 3. I was scared to go into the room because I didn't know what kind of intelligence that would emanate, And all these guys, to be honest, they are not, doing well is subjective, but they're not where they should have been compared to. The best of the guys who are supposedly doing well in the metrics of, say, whatever the success, is the middle guys, not the last guys. Not the top guys, but the middle guys. There's only one person in my entire knowledge of the top guys in my batches who has done really well, who is not only the topper, he's currently the Dean of Harvard Business School. He's a genius. He's been in the top 5 ranks, and he's still done exceptionally well. But barring him, everybody has been the middle guys. Now, that is why when I used to meet a lot of people, I know even today you would have met managing directors of large companies who are not very intelligent. Sometimes they don't speak at all. And I used to think that if they speak, we'll know how much they don't know, So that's why they're quiet. So, but that is all wrong, because the intelligence is one aspect. The mind goes beyond everything to probably take the intelligence and generate that stuff. There is I will just tell you one more sentence and I'll close this. There is a person called Louise Hay. I don't know how many of you have heard of her. Louise Hay has written a book called Heal Your Life. And there she gives you systematic. She was told she will not live beyond 6 months at the age of 42. She recently died at the age of 89. And she has documented every single illness in our body, every single, not 99, but 100% is created by a particular thought. So so that is one thing, but she's given the counter thought for you to cure that illness. So so if you see that about 200 pages is devoted to what is the thought that will create, whether it's diabetes, whether it's blood pressure, whatever it is, whether it's kidney.
Yeah, yeah.
I know many people who exactly reverse this, including me. So therefore, I am 100% clear. The only thing that matters is the mind. If you got your mind right,
Yeah.
because I've seen both sides. I've seen the highs and lows just using my mind. You know.
Yeah,
Anyway, thanks
yeah.
for that wonderful question, and I think it's
So-
really, really important. Thanks, Ashutosh. Yes,
Yeah,
Ruchi,
yeah, yeah.
I think Naresh.
Ruchi, no, I think Ruchi, first Ruchi and then Naresh.
Yes, Ruchi.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. It was a great session. I have a question. I am working, but I want to leave my job. I am into astrology and Vastu and
Right.
numerology, and I want to increase my clients. So, shall I visualize that like at 7 o'clock, my client is coming to my house for the consultancy and all, or is there any other way you suggest?
Yeah. Okay. See,
So
I may not be
currently,
able to. I may not
I'm
be able to
already
give you
doing.
the full program of what it is,
Yes.
but I'll give you a summary.
Yeah.
See, if you want to go for whatever program you want to be the Vastu expert or whatever,
Yes. Yes.
what is your end objective? Your end objective, you want to make a difference to say 1,000
Dilip,
people or 10,000 people and earn an X amount of money and be whatever.
And
it
leave my job. And
And-
leave my job. That's my main.
Yeah, that's one thing. That's a process.
Yes.
Right? Remember, what is your end objective wanting to start? 1, 2, 3. You need to visualize only that. Right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So therefore, you need to write out a specific plan as to what you need to do. And you very, very consciously forget of every single process. Leaving your job, you may leave the job. You may not leave the job. You may see, these are all things that happen. Your end objective is what? To be able to. And one more thing is, don't visualize with a complete selfish need. That means, I
Okay.
want $100 million. I want to sit on it.
Yes.
Try and
Correct.
see what are the services and goods that I can give and value that I can add using
Okay.
which I will get this. Like you rightly said, you want to do X. That means you're going to help, say, 10,000 clients and then
Correct, sir.
generate this kind of revenue, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
So come attend my summit. We'll work out a whole plan and I'll make sure that a particular date you get what you want. That's a
Sure.
promise.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Yes, Naresh. I think Naresh is waiting.
Yeah, Naresh, yeah, Naresh.
Because I have also read this book by Joseph Murphy.
Yeah.
Power
of subconscious mind. Yes.
A lot of these things are there. What you mentioned.
Yes.
What I want to know from you is like this visualization. Is it what frequency should we do it? And is there a particular time in the day to do it?
Fantastic. A very good question. See, the frequency depends. See, if you have the time, do it as many times as possible, as long as possible, right? And what you have touched upon is actually the one of the steps of a combination of visualization and belief pattern is when do you do it, right? Our brain, for example, has got different wave frequencies, alpha, beta, gamma, theta, and all that, right? And I mean, it's a longish thing, but I just summarize. There's one particular wave frequency called the alpha wave, where it opens the doors at that particular time, whatever you say to go into the subconscious. And that happens 2 times of the day, as and when you're waking up and as and when you're drifting to sleep. So as you're on the bed, you keep saying this, you'll automatically go into the alpha zone and feed the subconscious. So the best times are early morning when you're getting up and late night when you're just sleeping. That's when you're in alpha zone, which opens the doors to the subconscious. And I mean, there are a lot more on this, but I've just kind of breezed through that.
Okay.
Vijay Kumar, you had your hand up.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, sir. It's a really wonderful session. Sir, one question, right? So whenever we think of anything,
Can you speak a bit louder?
Yeah. Are you able to hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So So whenever we think of something or whenever we want to do something, the first thing comes to mind is, okay, what if this doesn't happen, right? I mean,
Correct.
it is for a good reason because we can plan it accordingly, right?
Right.
But
right.
then with that kind of negative thought, then how do we infuse these positive thoughts, right? Because it's kind of, contradicting, no?
Right. You asking fantastic questions. Now, the point is it requires a little bit of a longish time. See, the issue with all of us is that we are in a world where everything is by and large negative. Negativity sells. Arnab, if you open the TV, Arnab tells you the best thing that can happen to you is for you to die. I mean, everything else is unimportant, right? So everything is full of negative. So it's obvious that if I start something, the first thing that will come, one is the rational doubt, like you said, can I do, but there are irrational doubts. and there are thoughts which are stuck, right? And how do you get rid of those thoughts and power yourself only to this thought? Now, I went through a mental health problem called obsessive compulsive disorder. In an obsessive, I went through very, very high. I had very high medication and things like that, but I've come out of all that. Now, in that, you get stuck to a thought so badly that you cannot move out. You just cannot move out. Now, if there is a way that you can actually move out from that kind of a thing, this is a simple thing. When you want to do something, there's a thought that comes. No, yeah, you're not capable of all this. This is all for a different set of guys. You are very ordinary. This is a chatter that's going on, right? No, what happens if this fails? What happens if I put the money and the money doesn't come through? Then I go through more debt. There is a huge amount of negative chatter that's happening. There is a process which we call as an ASS process. That means be aware, stop, and shift. There's a process which I work with you for about an hour or two, wherein you'll be able to consciously cut away the chatter and be on what you want. Because remember, you are the architect to keep the mind on a thought that you want. Everything is a thought. To be honest with you, everything in the past is a thought. Everything in the future is a thought. Doesn't exist. Yes or no? The only reality is this moment. Everything else is a thought. So therefore, but your mind is most of the time either in the future or in the past and actually screwing up the present. So if you're able to understand this and set up a process, you will be able to get away with all this. Like I said, I may not be able to obviously take you through this entire process just now, but remember that you asked a very important question. There's a specific process and answer to this, which will take it away. That's a definite given. Thanks for asking.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Naveen?
Excellent, Mr. Vijay Kumar.
Thank you, sir.
Being a workplace spirituality researcher, I just want to bring the spirituality angle to it. Your first point being self-limiting. Yes, obviously what happens is when we start self-limiting, it becomes, personality defect, which is like, everyone is aware, but I myself is not aware. So that is something, the first point, the intense ego gets converted into a personality defect. That's where we start limiting ourselves. We start putting boundaries. And what we believe will obviously is what, it is said that it's right. It's whether you win or lose, it is right for you because that is what your thought process is.
Yes.
And that's what you become. And in terms of, the three levels, you mentioned about subconscious and conscious. Obviously, subconscious is always active when it comes to the conscious. But there is also a unconscious mind.
Unconscious, yes.
So, yes, to
you are going at a very different level. So obviously, you are talking at a spiritual level and all that. So I really appreciate that. But we're limiting this to one particular level. Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
There is supra-consciousness, there is unconsciousness and things like that. You're absolutely right.
Yes, it goes into 7 planes of it.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned also about the oxytocin and dopamine because, the good thing about us is human being always want instant great gratification. That's what I get it in a minute is what we are going to take it, whether it's a drink or a movie or all this is bad. We know that, smoking, but it gives that, happiness at that moment. That's why we ignore all that long term and we keep, encircled with this. So how do we come out of that? Again, rewiring it. So what we saw and what it has been, experimented in spirituality is one is to identify on that personality defect. That is an awareness process. Once we get that awareness, obviously we know where we are good, where we are bad, and documenting it. Obviously, not always when we write it, it becomes clearer, more clear. And the process is auto-suggestion. Auto-suggestion is where, we keep suggesting. That is where we train our subconscious. So how do we come out of it? How do we, keep rewiring the hardware, what has come along with us? So auto-suggestion is a very strong thing, that is where we can get out of it. And visualization, yes, it takes us physically, assuming what we want to be.
One other thing I want to interrupt you, in spirituality, for example, at a different level, there is this Aham Brahmasmi, right? I am, right? So now, even there, it's about I am. That's it. Right? So now, that's at a very different level. We are not even there. But this is good enough for, at this point in time, that is one of the reasons why this I am works so effectively. because at the end of the time, nothing exists except I am, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah. So
I am nothing.
yeah,
I'm
I
not
am
this
nothing.
body.
Yeah, I am not.
I'm
Yeah,
not this body.
yeah. So obviously, that's a different level and sphere that you are talking about, and I
Yes.
appreciate that. Yes, but
Yes,
So
that's where I think, the last one I just want to conclude. Yes, it's all that, the success, what comes is through this. So the downside of this is, see, we have seen many successful people. You mentioned about Shah Rukh Khan or Tendulkar or all this. Their father were not, their children's will not. They are successful. They will train that most to their children. Still, they will not able to recreate.
right.
That is for sure. We know
Yes.
Narayan Murthy, his son will not be even 1%
Yes.
of him. We know Amitabh Bachchan, his son will not be 1%.
Yes.
None of these cricketers, they are the
Yes.
only one. But why they will not able to recreate with their own son, with their own generation?
Yes. So can I tell you that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So it's like this. Yesterday in that session or day before yesterday, one person asked me, does this visualization work only for you or does it work for somebody else also?
Yeah.
Now it works for everybody. Now obviously there are two kinds of people. Like for example, the people who have and a lot of people who work on this may be doing it unknowingly also. Right. So if they're doing it unknowingly, whether it's Amitabh Bachchan or whether it is Sunil Gavaskar or whether it is whoever it is, and then they may not be knowing a process of how you can actually do it for your son. But there are enough people who seem to have done it for their sons too, whether it's Mukesh Ambani or whether it is the Rishi Kapoor's son or whether there are people who have done it. It's not that it's completely zero. There are people who seem to have done it, but there are people who don't seem to have done it. But in another session, when I meet you, I will tell you how my dad actually visualized when I was 14, that both his children, that is me and my younger brother, will be both from IIT and IIM. The probability is 1 in 60 million of two brothers getting both this. But he visualized this and he told me later, and there is another movie which I want you to watch if you can about the same thing, about somebody who has visualized that both his children will be number one, not number one and number two. Both his children will be number one in the world of tennis. And this he visualized before they were born. Venus Williams and Serena Williams. There's a huge movie like that, and everything is documented. So you're absolutely right. But the fact that somebody has not been able to manifest for his son shows the inadequacy of his methodology rather than the methodology itself. I'm convinced on that because there are enough and more people who have done it, like for their children and there are some people who just may not, while he's working so strongly. Amitabh, for example, on this thing, I don't know. I'm just conjecturing.
Vijay, considering the time, I think we'll take one last question from
Otherwise, we can get carried away. I'm sorry.
Yeah, absolutely. Gratitude.
Yeah, I can spend 1 hour with you on this. Sorry, Swati.
Geeta, go ahead.
So half my question was answered. Vijay, first of all, thank you so much. I resonate with so many things that you said because I believe in if I can, you can mantra.
Thank you so much, Geeta. Yeah.
I'd say to my children, my work everywhere. One thing that answered the question answered by you was I wanted to do it for my children. Visualize and fix a date and get things going. Halfway I was able to do it, And my question now, the only question I have now is if there is a clinical intervention, for example, if it's a mental wellness case, all right, if there are some anti-anxiety pills the person is taking, do you think if we put a strong deadline, a timeline for recovering it, or at least tapering the medicine and making that person little positive?
Yes. Geeta, I'll just give you a quick summary of what you asked is very good. Like, for example, I'll just tell you, I was on a medication dose of 175 mg of a psychiatric drug where 250 was death. Okay. Now, medicines, what they do, and I can take you on an offline somewhere. Medicines, all they do, when we go mentally out of sync, what has happened is the speed of thought is at a very high level. When the speed of thought is at a very high level, then you really cannot do much of any of this. So first and foremost, a medicine, what it does is it reduces the speed of thought. That's all it does, nothing else. No medicine can cure anything. And when the speed of thought is reduced, it is our ability to actually do all these things and get. So I had set specific dates. whether it is fear of flying, whether it is coming out of any of these things. And that is actually very, very important.
That is it possible to do it with the other person?
Yeah, for the other person who's, yes, of course.
Yeah,
Yes.
the one who's taking this.
Yes, my younger daughter used to monitor this for me, and she and me has set the day. So no, I'm assuming people are not completely out of gone case. Okay.
No.
Yeah. So if then it's a different ball game, but I reached a reasonable level of collapse, to be honest with you. But it is highly possible for the other person to set it and then have a communication where you slowly actually feed it.
Oh, great.
You can just take my number down in case
this
that
motivates
was
me
not.
A lot. Yeah, I'll take your number. Yes.
Yeah, you can take my number from Swati. You can even take it right now. It's 988 and 000 9453. And you can ask me some questions of your own. Yeah, 988 000
9453. Yeah.
You can ask Swati also. But anything that I can be of help, do reach out, and I'll be only happy to help.
This is great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you all for giving me the time and opportunity, and thank you, Swati.
Thank you, Vijay, for this wonderful session. I'm sure everybody got a lot from it. And if anyone wants to reach out to Vijay, I had just put up the slide. I think you can contact him, or you just ask me and I will share the details with you later on. But thank you for being here.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much,
Vijay.
all of you.
Thank you, Swati. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Vijay. I think that was illuminating.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.